The Battle of Gettysburg during the American Civil War is one of the most famous events to take place during the bloody conflict. One decisive moment from the battle has been mythologized in narratives from the war, especially in the South: Pickett's charge.
Yeah, more than half of the men on the Confederate side being killed, wounded, or captured. It served as a crippling blow to their army, even forcing General Robert E. Lee to retreat to Virginia at the conclusion of combat.
Pickett's charge is also the focus of the latest entry into the Milford Museum's American History series. And we are with the man presenting that program on Pickett's charge. This is Taylor Reynolds. Welcome, Taylor.
Welcome.
So, Taylor, what got you interested in learning about the Civil War?
Yeah, absolutely. So my parents, when I was young, started taking me to Williamsburg, went to Gettysburg, visited for vacations, and I just started gaining an interest. And the older I've gotten, the more I've started doing research into the topic, and I've joined a reenacting group, the Liberty Rifles Living History Historical Association, and we do a lot of programs with National Park Service, Gettysburg specifically. And it's just been a fascinating topic for several years for me now.
Let's talk about Pickett's charge and its significance to the war.
Yeah, absolutely. So Pickett's charge was kind of the final, I guess you could say, event that occurred in the Battle of Gettysburg, which occurred on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 1863. So Confederate forces, marched across an open field. It was roughly a mile. Attacked Union forces that were situated on Cemetery Ridge, and were repulsed, had significant casualties as a result. And a lot of times you hear it referred to as the high tide of the Civil War, the high water mark of the Confederate Army as they invaded into the North. Following the battle, ultimately the Confederate Army would retreat back down south, and the war would continue for roughly another 2 years. But from there, it was kind of the peak, I guess you could say, of the Confederate Army's success.
Well, it sounds like you've done a lot of research on Pickett's charge. So while you've been studying this topic, what was something interesting you learned?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the components to this presentation is going to be highlighting Delaware's involvement in the battle. And something really interesting that I don't think a lot of people realize, and certainly I didn't, was that there's actually 3 Delaware individuals that received the Medal of Honor from different acts that they had done during the battle. John Mayberry, Bernard McCarran, and James Park Postles were the 3 gentlemen from Delaware that ultimately would be awarded the Medal of Honor. So we're going to talk a little bit about what they did to gain this notoriety and recognition for what they had done as well. So it was kind of an interesting thing to dig into.
Yeah, I bet. So how are you organizing the upcoming program?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of looking at a bigger picture, and then dwindling it down to the smaller picture. So how the armies ultimately got to Gettysburg, how Pickett's charge even came to be following the first and second day's fight, what would ultimately be the culmination of the charge, and then delving into a little bit of, like I said, what Delaware did during those actions. So it's going to be kind of a 2-part presentation, but I think it'll be really exciting to a lot of people.
It does sound very exciting. What do you hope people will take away from the event?
I hope they take away that, the Civil War is complicated. Certainly the Battle of Gettysburg is complicated. And, it's easy for us today to look back with our 21st century eyes and maybe criticize, movements that both armies did, why they were doing this. And so I hope people come out of it having a better understanding of why Pickett's charge happened, what ultimately led to the decision, what led to the Union Army ultimately holding fast and being able to defeat this monumental, army in this charge. And then also taking away, Delaware's impact, because Delaware had a pretty crucial role during that day. So.
Well, it sounds fascinating, and I know a lot of people are going to want to attend the program. So tell us where and when.
So it's going to be this Saturday at the Milford Library at 1 o'clock. So I think they got plenty of seats available. And it should be a good crowd.
Do you need to pre-register or anything, or you just show up?
No, it's just a free event put on by the Milford Museum in partnership with the Milford Library. And like I said, it's at 1 o'clock, so anybody's welcome to attend.
All right.
So looking forward to seeing everybody.
That does sound wonderful.
Taylor, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.